Welcome one, welcome all to the podcast that shines the light on athletes past, future and present. This is their story. This is 2020 Vision. Hello and welcome to episode 19 of 2020 Vision. Now, before we start, I must admit that the story you will hear in this episode proved difficult to record due to issues with apps not working and my dogs finding awkward times to bark. Thankfully, on the third time we nailed it, which proved that the third time is the charm. We showed a thing called persistence, which brings me to the athlete we focus on this week. His name is Barry Carey, and he is a man with not only an accent you can listen to for hours, but also a lot of persistence, as well as many other amazing traits and stories. This chat has a lot of ups and some downs that have shaped Barry to be who he is today. I hope you enjoy my chat with Barry Carey. Thank you very much for joining me on my podcast 2020 Vision. Before we start, I have someone to thank, and that's your coach, Sean Williams. Do you mind telling us a little bit about the man that is Sean?
Sean, he's just an amazing man, amazing coach. Never mind and an amazing human being. He's just done a lot for various levels of athletes. He's caters for all levels, and I can't say anything but good for the man. Yeah.
No, that's awesome, mate. So let's talk about your journey, and we'll eventually get to how you found Sean. Let's start from the beginning and take it away. You've got a very good story to tell.
Right. Yeah. So just from the beginning, wasn't really much of a runner when I was, back in Ireland. My passion was GAA back in Ireland, and I took that up from I was about 10.
Explain that to us, actually, if you can.
Yeah, the GAA.
Yep.
So basically, it's a round ball, and so there's rules. You solo, then you bounce, and then you kick over the bar.
So Gaelic football.
And it's kind of similar to AFL.
Yep.
But if you score a point between the two posts, it only counts as 1 point. It doesn't count as 6.
Yep.
Then there's obviously the goals underneath. So if you score into the goals underneath, that's counted as 3 points.
Yep.
So
I think they've had a couple of series of international rules here with the AFL.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like Ireland will play Australia's rules, and then Australia go over and play Ireland's rules with, obviously Ireland play with the oval, and Australia play with the round ball.
Okay.
So it's just people at home in Ireland live and would probably be willing to die for the sport. There's just so much passion in the sport in GAA back at home in Ireland, and it's an unbelievable sport to watch.
Who's the team to go for?
Well, the team back in Ireland is called Fermanagh. Really passionate about the county. It's a little county where everybody knows everybody. So it's like a small knit community, and you only have to drive 5 minutes down the road to the next town, or 15 minutes to the next town. It's not very big, but Fermanagh is my home county.
Beautiful, mate. All right, let's continue on with the story there.
Yeah. So I was playing football from I was about 10 till 22 back in Ireland, and I decided that I wanted a change, so I moved over to Sydney, Australia in what year is it now? 2008, and just got involved with football, fell in love with the place. Was partying nearly every weekend on the beers, just really hammering it on
the real Australian lifestyle.
It was great. It was great for about 2 years. and yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I made loads of friends. It was like, it was like a family away from home. And then I started witnessing some problems with anxiety, which had kind of came back to haunt me, from my earlier days through my teens. I had a bit of health anxiety, and yeah, it was, everything that you could have physically, I didn't matter. I thought I had it.
Was that
It was
anxiety?
really
Was that anxiety from bullying or anything like that? How did that come about? Do you believe?
um, probably a bit of, yeah, but probably came from a bit of bullying, yeah. But yeah, and just I lacked a bit of confidence when I was younger as well, and then my father was killed in a
Yeah.
lorry accident when I was 9 years of age. So I was a pretty nervous child, really, to be honest. And yeah, my mother used to have to, going through my bouts, she used to have to chase me around the yard to try and get me to go to school. And I didn't want to go to school, and yeah, it was a lot of persuasion getting me to go. But yeah, eventually my mum and I decided that she would bring me to a counsellor when I was young, and yeah, I went to the counsellor and started seeking a bit of advice, and he put me on Prozac, and after about a year I felt pretty good again. And when I got turned to about 16, 17, I started going out and socialising with my mates, and yeah, the fear and the anxiety sort of went away. It was like going out and drinking when you're 16, 17 was kind of like a new thing. And I health or nothing like that worried me then. It wasn't until I got to Australia, I think it was around 2011, where I started, where I had went back into like anxiety attacks, and thinking that there was something wrong with me when there wasn't anything wrong with me physically. But I was just so much into my head that I couldn't get it out of it. But it was a pretty tough time for me. I was I would be going out to nightclubs and stuff with my friends, or I'd just be in a pub, and sometimes I'd be just in there for like 10 minutes and I'd have to leave because I just wasn't fit in my head. I couldn't interact with people, and they were asking me what's wrong with me, and I was afraid to open up because I felt embarrassed. Maybe thought maybe that they might laugh at me. But yeah, I was in a really bad way, and to a point where I was, it really brought me down, and I was going to the chapel, and I just remember one instance where it had brought me to my knees, and I just crying. I don't know if you're religious, or many people that are, but I'm pretty religious. I come from a Catholic family, and I have a bit of a fair belief in God, and it brought me to my knees, and so from that moment on, I just kept fighting and praying for an answer. And I came across a fellow called Charles Linden. I'd done a lot of research on health anxiety, and I came across a fellow called Charles Linden, and he has what they call the Linden Method, and it's so I went on that program and got myself right again, and got back to life as normal.
Is this method, the Linden method, is it available for everyone to look at?
It's available for everyone to look at. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just about finding ways to, if you're in a negative mindset and you're thinking about something, you're making it more conscious.
Okay.
So if you think if you're having a heart attack, like people have panic attacks and everything, but if you're thinking you're having a heart attack and you keep thinking it, it's going to become more conscious in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea of the Linden Method was to, kind of push it back to your subconscious and just try and find ways of diverting your mind into stuff, that is positive, and don't keep going to doctors. A lot of people, they keep going to doctors, and every time they go to a doctor, there's nothing physically wrong with them.
And they always offer the medication, I find, as well.
Okay.
They always offer the medication as well, I find.
Yeah. Well, in the Linden Method, funny enough, he wasn't too keen on pushing medication for. He thought that there was withdrawals with it, but I seem to disagree myself.
No.
But out of the program, I find that people will get a lot of benefit out of it if they just sign into it. And I feel that it really, really helped me to, take control of my life back again, and to try and reassure myself that there's nothing wrong with you. You're as fit as a fiddle. Don't let them. It's called the fight or flight response. So don't let them anxieties bother you. So yeah, it really opened the door for me, and I got back to life as normal. And yeah, I started getting into boxing because it was always something that I wanted to do. I always wanted to step into the ring and have a fight and
float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Sorry?
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. That sort of mentality.
That's it, correct, yeah. Yeah, fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee, yeah. Muhammad Ali's great words, he's a great man.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I got into boxing and had my first fight, and yeah, I felt just amazing after, to be honest. I trained for about 3 months and got put in for my first fight, and it was just amazing. I felt so good. It's a very very brave thing to do, to step into the ring and fight with the opponent. Even though I lost, I still very proud of myself inside. That there's not many people. I think I was chatting to a boxing coach, and he told me that only 1% of the world's population has the actual get up and go to get into the ring and actually have a fight. So yeah. I'm very proud of what I did.
As you should be.
I from losing, there was a lot of people saying to me like, oh Barry, you should get back into it. You're very good, and just more practice. You should get back into it, and you'll be fine. You wouldn't know what doors it would open. And then I had the naysayers saying, I don't know, I don't like to see you getting hurt, and I was stuck between a rock and a hard place, and I was like, so a lot of the ones that said they didn't want me boxing, they said, why don't you do running? And I was like, I don't know, I want to do boxing, and then I ended up picking running over boxing anyway, and I only started kind of running in 2013. I fell into a really, really dark place and a deep depression. Felt life was worthless. Didn't want to live anymore. Was going through a bit of financial bother, and just a lot of things piled on top of each other, and it just gets too much to handle. So I happened to be driving to work. The worst day was I was driving to work one day, and I had a couple of boys in the back of the car, and they were going on about my mate that was in a pub the previous day, and they were going on about, oh, I'm gonna have to have words with that man. You know, he really upset me yesterday and all this. And I instantly asked, I says, who are you talking about? And they said, oh, Fergie. And I says, well, what's wrong with Fergie? That's not like Fergie to be, you know, causing any hassle. What's wrong with Fergie? And then one of the boys broke it to me that, you know, he had schizophrenia. And I just remember driving the car and just tears rolling down my eyes, because I know from experience from going to see my uncle in hospital when I was back in Ireland, and he has a really, really bad case where he can't come out, and it's just horrible to see how painful it is for them to just get through and by everyday life. So that kind of was in my heart when I heard what happened to my mate, and that really brought me down the dumps. The same day, I had a crash on the road, and luckily no one was injured or killed. But that really really put me down in the dumps. I remember getting to work that day, and I remember, you know, I was at work, but I was there in body, but I wasn't there in mind. People were asking me, my mates were asking me for different tools and stuff like that, and I just wasn't switched on to the earth. I was in my own land, and couldn't get out of my head. And eventually my mate came to me and he says, mate, you know, it was my best mate, Mark. He says, look, Maury, he says, I think you need help, mate. And you know, he rang up the counsellor for me, because I was in no fit state in my mind to actually do that. So we went ahead with it anyway, and I went into the counsellor, and I broke down crying and just told her basically everything I was going through. My father getting killed when I was young, you know, going through health anxiety, going through depression, losing my uncle through a heart attack, and she just said to me, look, she says, I'm glad that you opened up. It's the best thing. It's the best thing that anyone can do, is to open up. And
Definitely.
what I want you to do this evening is go home, and for 3 months, she said, every day for 3 months, she said, I want you to go home. I'm giving you a task to do. You want to get better, so I'm giving you a task to do, she said. She said, you go home, and every evening you write down a list of 10 things to be happy for in life. And I took that on board, went and done that for 3 months, and it just lifted everything. It just, you know, made me realise that, you know, I'm okay, I may be depressed, okay, I may have these problems, but there's other people out there that have a lot worse problems than what I have. Like, you just need to go down the street, you see someone in a wheelchair, or you see someone on the street, you know, that's homeless, or, you know, and you just have to nip yourself and just realise how lucky you are to, you know, actually have the friends around you and have the support around you, have a roof over your head. Yeah, you can't eat, you know, and just, you know, a lot of things we take for granted in life, but it just takes 1 minute to look outside the box and look around you to see how tough other people are getting it.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
That I took a lot of positives out of that, and moved on with my life, and decided that, you know, there's you know, you can either rise or you can crumble. It's your own choice. So I decided that I wanted to rise, and that I wanted to fight back, and I wanted to get mentally well again, and I done that, and in 2013 I participated in my first 10k. I didn't really have much training behind me, but I went and I done it anyway, and I done it for a cause for the Cancer Council.
Yep.
And I raised $1,600.
Well done.
For the cancer, and I was the highest individual fundraiser in New South Wales that year. I got a certificate and they sent it to my home address, and that's something really special to cherish.
Yeah, and at the point you would have felt very fulfilled as well, because you've just gone through everything that you've spoken about. So to come out and actually feel like you've done something and receive something for that would have been really good for your self-esteem.
Yeah, it was really good for the self-esteem. If other people out there can just, just for 1 minute, maybe just try and get out of their own head and think of someone else or think of all the people around the world that are sick and, that are homeless, and try and have those people and them in a far better place for you as well, because with helping out other people, you get gratitude, and when you get gratitude, that makes a whole lot of difference in life and moving forward. So that was that race, and then I decided to take part in I kind of got what would you say, the bug?
Yeah, the bug. Yeah.
The bug, and I went and I took part in the City to Surf. We're on 59 minutes under the hour, and I was pretty proud of that, and I was getting a lot of good feedback from my mates and my family and my sister. And
I've heard that track can be very deadly as well. The City to Surf. It's got a lot of. I believe there's a hill involved. Am I correct?
Oh mate, yeah. There's. You know what? At the time, it is a pretty. It is a pretty gruesome hill. Yeah. First time doing it, you think, oh my god, how the hell am I going to get up here? But I just kept grinding away, and I got in and under the hour, and I was pretty happy with that. And I just then I kind of says to myself, what's next? So then I picked the marathon that year, and I was trying to raise money for my uncle. So and just not raise money for my uncle, but raise money in remembrance of my uncle.
The thing that amazes me there is you haven't gone half marathon; you've just jumped to a marathon.
Yeah, it was it. Yeah, I don't know what it was in my head. It was just I had set myself a goal, and my mate Mark had kind of suggested it to me, because he had done it previously, and I played football with him. And he had done it previously, and he says, mate, you should give it a crack. I believe a marathon can test a person's mental health and how strong they are in the mind. And so I took it on board, took his advice, and said, you know what, I'm going to give it a crack. And I did, and around 3 hours 41 minutes.
Yeah.
The 35k mark was about 35k. I was in excruciating pain. I went over to the ambulance and I said, here, have you any painkillers, like Nurofen, or I thought basically the legs were going to just collapse from underneath me. And they said, no, sorry, there's a bus coming along in 5 minutes. I says, no harm to you, but I'm only after running 35 odd k there. I'm not giving up now.
No, you
if
wouldn't.
I have to crawl to the finish line, I'll crawl to the finish line. And I did, and my sister was there, welcoming me with open arms, and it was a very, very proud and elated moment in my life.
Does religion play a part in that at all? Because you said earlier on that you were religious. Does religion play a part in where you were at that point?
Yeah, I believe it has played a part big time. Like, I believe that something spiritual there, and every time I'm down in the dumps, and every time I'm trying to fight back, I always had not only asked for
Yeah.
help from God, but I asked for help from my father, and I asked him, please, Dad, get me through this tough time, and I believe that has helped me along the way as well.
So you had a hand on your shoulder as you were running that last 15 kilometers in that marathon.
Yeah, I just thinking about all the tough times I've been through, and you have a lot of thoughts that go through your head once you reach that 35k mark. You've only got 7k's to go, but it feels like you've another marathon to run.
Yeah.
But it was just that, no, Barry, you can do it. Come on, keep going. You can do it. And do it for your dad. Do it for your uncle. And that's what I did. And fast forward on, that year, it wasn't until the following year that I went and took part in a half marathon in the Centennial Park. You've heard of it?
Yes, definitely.
And I ran. Funny enough, I only found out that it was on the Wednesday, and I booked it on the Thursday and ran it on the Sunday. So,
jeez, you're a crazy man. Crazy man.
Typical Irish. Typical Irishman,
Yeah, definitely.
But so I took part in that, and I ran 1 hour 28 minutes, and at the end I finished 14th, and Keith Hong came across me, and he said to me,
who's this Irish man that's infiltrating my runners, beating them?
Jeez, Barry, do you do much running? And I said, not here and there, not a great deal. And he was like, geez, mate, have you got a running coach? And I was like, what? And I was kind of, no, I haven't got a running coach. And he was like, it'll be worth your while getting one. So then that's when he put me, I went to a few training sessions with Keith, and he's a great bloke. Only for him today, I wouldn't be where I am. I wouldn't have recognised any of the talent I had, only for Keith Hong. It was him that put me in touch with Sean, and it was that year that I was only briefly with Sean, and I ran a 56 city to surf and a 3 hour 26 marathon. It wasn't until 2015 that when I met Sean, obviously, he recognised a small bit of talent, and he said, mate, with a bit of practice and a bit of effort over the next few years, and if you don't get injured, we could get you down to 30 minutes. Like just laughed at him. But
yeah, so we've come full circle now, because we're talking about the great man Sean. So let's continue on. What goes next? What has he done for you?
So basically, in terms of my athletics, so he has that year, the 2015 was probably the turning point. I got down to 34 minutes in the 10k in Sydney Harbour 10k. Going from 37:45 to that was pretty special, just by following his program. It's a great program.
Yeah.
Then
what's the program look like, if I may ask? What does it involve for you?
Yeah, so at the time I think it was about 90 to 100 kilometers a week, and it was we run every day.
That's amazing.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you probably had an easy run on Monday, maybe 30 minutes. You had maybe 1k reps on a Tuesday. And then Wednesday you do maybe 14 or 15k. Thursday was another session, whether that be 3x2k or 3x3k. It was all varied, and he does out a program for athletes for $50 a month. So he if anyone else out there is looking for someone to coach them as well, then Sean would be your man. He's he's very, very intelligent. He's been in the game for 20 years. He knows what he's talking about, and definitely I'd be hitting him up for some coaching if anyone needed some coaching.
That's a great plug. That's a great plug for him there.
But in regards to myself, so fast forward to the city to surf that year, Um, I ran 48 minutes, 48:34, and that was an 8-minute PB for me, and that really blew my mind, and yeah, it blew a lot of people's minds, to be honest. I didn't think I was going to be capable of that. I never thought that when I first met Sean that, I've run under 60 minutes, but there's no way in hell, or 56 minutes, but there's no way in hell I can get down to 48 minutes. I was thinking to myself, and then it just happened, and I was like, just through consistent training, just showing up every day, showing up week after week, and just stringing the months together, and it all fell into place that year. And that same year, I think that was the City to Surf, then I went missing in action for about a year, because I was having a few injury issues, and I was in and out of training, getting fit, getting injured, getting fit, getting injured, and didn't really get another proper run until 2017. I went back and done the City to Surf again. Again, it was just I bounced back and done 48:37, I think it was, and give the Sydney Harbour 10k race, and I think we were around the same 34 minutes. And then 2017, obviously a big move for me and Harry Summers. So we decided that we'd wanted to bite the bullet and move over to Melbourne, where Sean had moved to, and get coached by him.
Okay.
Because I believe that he's probably up there with one of the best in the country.
He must be the best if you're considering moving the state in order to be in his presence.
It was a very hard decision on both me and Harry's part. We were leaving a lot of things behind us in Sydney as well. But I knew within my own heart that eventually, if I keep at it and don't give up, and Sean placed me trust in Sean that he will get me there. I'd just like to give a quick mention out to Ben St. Lawrence as well. He's was one of Sean's past athletes, and he's been a big turning point in my life as well. He has helped me along the way and given me a lot of good tips, in terms of getting my recovery and listening to my body, and giving me little tips on bits of strength work and stuff like that as well. So I'd like to thank him also, and Victoria Mitchell.
Beautiful.
She helped me along. But moving on, so we moved to Melbourne and got in touch with Sean again, and was ready to race in, I think I ran one race that year, 2018. I think it was the 5k in Melbourne. I ran a PB of 16:14 on the road, and shortly after that I was getting into training and getting ready for actually I ran 10k in Borneo. I ran around 34 minutes there as well, and then I was getting into shape to race the Hobart in February 2018, I think it was, and I ended up in great shape. Probably 5-6 weeks before the race, I get a stress fracture in my pubic radius bone.
Good.
And yeah, that really put me down in the dumps. Like one thing I will say for mental health, running is massive, absolutely massive. If you keep at it, it might seem tough at the time, but if you keep at it, it really, really, really helps your mental well-being. You just feel so good about yourself after getting out and doing a run. Anyway, that was a pretty tough patch.
Yeah, it would have been.
Fast forward, there was a period where, I'm very resilient. It got me down for a while, but I was like, you know what? I'm not letting this beat me. I'm like saying to myself, I'm going to get a reward out of all my pain that I've witnessed. I'm not giving up. So I was on crutches at the time, but I couldn't do any cross training because it was in my pelvis and my back. Couldn't do nothing. So I was doing research, trying to look for ways to keep fit, and I ended up coming across ergometer. So I there is such thing as a bus, but I didn't believe in buses. I wanted to just, I wanted to show a bit of fight in me, and I crutched it 2k to the gym most days and got on the ergometer, dropped the crutches on the ground, and just done like maybe 20 times 1 minute flat out with a 20-second recovery in between, and getting in and dragging myself into the water on my hands, my knees to get some hydrotherapy through the muscles so that I would try and get back quicker. And it wasn't. I was a slow process, but from seeing a few specialists and stuff like that, they give me some strength work. One of them being Dean Verway. I bumped into him in SSPC, Southern Physiotherapy in Parkdale, and he gave me great tips on strength, and I've been doing it ever since. And this year I have run for the 10k 33:20 in Albert Park, and 5k. I think I've run another 5k at 16:14, and I'm just about to do a half marathon in Bournley this weekend. So we'll see how we go there.
I'm in awe. I'm in amazement at how, firstly, you can go 2k on crutches to a gym, and then just the memory that you've got as well as to what you've done in life and your go-getter attitude. It's amazing that there is someone like you out there that has achieved so much, and yet you've still got so much of your life to go. What's next for you? What would you like to achieve?
Well, I'd like to. The last couple of what I would like to achieve is it would be a dream of mine if I put in the effort and I stay determined that maybe I might scrape onto maybe an Olympic team in the marathon in the future. That would be a dream come true if that could happen.
Yeah.
And my coach hasn't exactly ruled it out yet. It's too early to tell, but I'm willing to put in as much effort as I can to get the best out of myself. And as long as I know that I've put everything, I've put all the eggs in one basket and tried everything that I possibly can to get as good as I possibly can, then I'll be happy to just leave it at that. Yeah.
That's amazing, mate. What words of advice would you give to athletes that are starting out? You've given plenty so far in what you've said in regards to mental health and bounce back. Is there any other things or last words that you'd like to leave with us?
In terms of just for anybody that's for depression, for anybody that's suffering, just do not be afraid to speak. Just it's amazing how much of a weight that comes off your shoulders if you just speak up. Because, like I said before, the person that's standing in front of you is not going to know that you're suffering inside. They can just look at you and go, they think, oh, you're the best. You look great. You're amazing. What could be wrong with that person? But you got to speak up. That's the main thing. Get help, and help can come in a number of ways. Like pick up running. Go and see a counsellor. Do not be afraid to confide in a friend. It will open a lot of doors for you, and you will realise that there's a lot of help out there. In terms of running, I would just best advice I can give anyone in terms of running is to don't jump in too quick, because that's one of my downfalls. I was just jump in and do all the training and go too hard at it and get injured. Just listen to your coach Listen to the advice he gives you. Most importantly, listen to your body, and do not be afraid to take rest days, because rest days can recoup your whole muscles and leave you feeling nice and refreshed next session or next run out. And the other thing is, get plenty of hydrotherapy. Don't be afraid to go down to a local swimming pool, or get into an ocean and get some recovery out of there either. That's basically the best advice I can give to anyone. Just listen to your body, be consistent, don't make excuses, just and be determined, and you never know what lays in front of you.
And if you have the choice to rise or crumble, rise. And you've done that, and we thank you very much for your story.
You have the choice to rise or crumble, rise. Definitely rise. Don't let it. It can either go two ways, Jordan. You can lie in a big heap, feel sorry for yourself, hack on the weight, or you can get up and go and try your best to get mentally fit and well again. Speak to friends, speak to family, whatever you got to do. One thing that's not going to help is lying doing nothing. You got to challenge your mind. You got to set goals for yourself, and do good for other people as well. Think outside the box, and just give help to other people that are in need. Because I'm sure if you're in need, you would like help from them. So that's the best advice I can give. Well, the only other thing I would like to say as well in terms of mental health, Jordan, is when I made the decision to go to that counsellor, I made two decisions: to go to the counsellor, and the other decision I made was I'm never touching a drink again. I haven't touched a drink in 7 years. There was a point where I was drinking nearly 5 days of the week. I was not getting any sleep, and that's a massive thing. If you have the courage and you feel you have the willpower to do it, because that makes a massive difference to your mental health as well, and not only that, but your physical well-being.
I'm kind of lost for words in a sense. Like, you're an amazing individual, and I thank you so much for your time and chatting for me on my podcast, 2020 Vision. You've not only spoken words of wisdom to everyone, but myself, I feel touched by the words you said, and I'm definitely going to take them on. I'm definitely going to go grab a pair of sneakers, chuck them on, and go for a run, because we need to get the head working, and I thank you very much for being involved in this and telling your story.
Yeah, no problem at all, Jordy. It was my pleasure, and I'd like to thank everyone out there that has helped me along my journey as well. You know who you are, and I'm extremely glad that you reached out and helped me.
Thank you. You're an extraordinary person, and don't forget that. So, what did you think? This man's story was amazing, from enjoying the sport of Gaelic football to running a marathon with close to no training, then to walking 2 kilometres each day to a gym on crutches. I was completely amazed by Barry's story, and hope you were too. As Barry stated, if you are feeling down, please do not be afraid to seek counselling, and use tools such as Lifeline to assist you. In the episode description below or above, depending on the platform you are listening on, I'll be posting links to the Linden Method, which Barry mentioned, as well as some Gaelic football videos, because, well, why not? I thank you very much for joining me on another episode of 2020 Vision. Join me next week. Who knows who we're going to get. For more of a look at our athletes that we feature on episodes, go to our Facebook page, 2020 Vision Podcast, where you will find all information on our episodes, as well as what's happening next week. This is 2020 Vision.